Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crypto Hipster Podcast. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you entrepreneurs, executives, artists, founders, thought leaders in crypto and blockchain from all around the world. And today I have an amazing guest. His name is Eric McHugh. He is with the SHOPX Foundation. He is the Chief Growth Officer. Eric, welcome.
Thanks, Jamil. Really appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about ShopX recently, so I'm really excited to dig in a little bit here. And to start things off, though, I asked all my guests really the same question. I'm interested to know what is your background and is it a logical background for what you're doing now?
I'd like to think so. So, nice to meet everyone. 29 years old, born and raised Southern California. My first job out of college was at Snapchat, so Snap Inc. I joined right before the IPO to see what that was like. That was pretty interesting. So I did ad algorithm optimization. From there, I became a bankruptcy consultant, mainly because it paid well and I needed a high-paying job. And that's when I was really going into the crypto rabbit hole. So during that time as a consultant, I was paid to bill clients. So I saw how wasteful that was, and then I just went full-time crypto. So I rage quit that after my bonus, started going to crypto meetups, and that's eventually I found the ShopX Foundation, started working with them for a bit, and then from there, I helped launch a Web2 social commerce platform called CartRev. What that was is it replaced affiliate codes. So as a Shopify brand, you could download an app, you could upload all your products with a discount. Any customer could be like, oh, I like this Nike shirt, I like this Reebok shoe, I like this Black Rifle coffee cup. Add all products to a personal link, and then they could sell that to any of their friends, family, or followers. So customer got the product, seller got the commission, brand got the sale, everyone's happy. And then from there, I went full time into ShopX.
Said something interesting there, and I don't want to name names, but I want to just get your overall high level take on what we're seeing right now as far as bankruptcies in crypto. That's a follow up.
Yeah, just a improperly run company. So within the I think we're thinking of a similar one, but yeah. So with that company, it was just management just poorly ran the company. They ran out of money, and the unfortunate part for that was, and part of the reason why I got so into crypto is when a major Fortune 500 company goes bankrupt, obviously the little person, the shareholder, they eat last, which means the people at the top they get their money first, then next level, and then if you're lucky, you'll get like 5 cents to the dollar. I'm just like, well, that's not fair.
Yeah, we'll see what we get now. So let's talk about ShopX. Okay, let's talk about
Cool.
something awesome here. It's ShopX. It's what is it all about? What makes it great? What do you do in particular there? What's the whole lay of the land?
So ShopX is the bridge for brands in Web 2 to enter Web 3. And how that works is we're a suite of technologies. Think Apple, think Google. We'll have different separate technologies for each individual brand need. So presently, our live product is Reserve X. That's a pre-purchase loyalty program for e-commerce brands. So let's say hypothetically you're a brand on Shopify, and we started development with two of the other three major e-commerce platforms. You can go directly within your Shopify app, mint your own smart contract or deploy your own smart contract within 3 minutes, and there's YouTube videos of that. It's so easy. My grandma was able to do it. So once you deploy your smart contract, you could add e-commerce benefits to that contract, and from there your customers can mint their own Reserve Pass NFT and enjoy those e-commerce benefits like token gating. So we recently had a couple of case studies. One was with the Magnolia Park. They're a hyper brand in Los Angeles. They did a gold, silver, bronze tier pass. Within 24 hours, they minted out 125 passes, earned 94% ETH, and after the passes are minted, their community has the the conversion rate for that community is 80% compared to 2% e-commerce normal conversion rate. The reason for that is they already bought the passes, they already bought into the brand. So whenever they get benefits, they're going to buy the product. Yeah. And my personal favorite thing about that is over 50% of the minters were 100% brand new to crypto. So that's a great way to get people into the Web3 ecosystem. Our second case study is with a major famous dog on Instagram, a Husky Jackson. Everyone loves Huskies. So in his case study, he didn't have a product yet. So he launched a pass prior to the release of his store to his community. So that helped prove his concept, and he raised money prior to his brand being launched, which helped him actually launch his brand. So it's a way, it's like somewhat of a Kickstarter effect. So yeah, we're simply a technology platform. How brands want to use this best is it's totally up to them, and we're here to support.
The brands that are on there, are they all retail brands? Or like what's your clientele like that's using your app?
Presently, we have 2 retail brands because we're hardening up the tech. We're going to deploy later this month with 2 new features. One is going to be the agency split model. So as an agency, you're working with tons of brands, and this is by request. You can manage the whole process for them, program your wallet address in, and get paid as they mint, since I'm sure your listeners are aware that a lot of brands rely on agencies for marketing, so that's going to make things easy. The second implementation is the major area for opportunity for our first 2 case studies was the new crypto minters. They're new to crypto, so they didn't have ETH in the wallet. So they're like, how do you get ETH? Go to Coinbase, go to Kraken, go to Binance. Bought it. Oh, there's a week delay before you can transfer it off. Can't do that. So we're integrated with cross mint, meaning as a new minter, you can mint a credit card in real time immediately. So that should help with that. Did I answer your question?
It does. When you think you know something in the space, you have something new comes along, and you're like, okay, I no longer knew what I knew.
Yeah, the more you learn, the less you know, type of thing.
Yeah. That's great. Awesome. So I'm gonna check it out. That's really awesome. So let me ask you this. Okay, so I saw that you're really into wanting to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, right? And e-commerce, right?
Correct.
How do you bridge that gap?
Yeah, it's very simple. And my overall goal in life is to have a nice, peaceful life. Can't do that when the money's messed up. The best way to un-F the money is bring people into crypto. The best way for me to do that personally is to utilize ShopX to help brands bring their customers into Web3. Because as you know, as a customer, you purchase your first NFT, that's a 0-1 effect. You'll research on your own time. So the best way ShopX bridges from Web2 to Web3 is, like I said, as a brand, you simply you download an app, and you can start doing Web3 activities very easily. So for example, if Nike joins, they do one NFT, that's onboarding people to Web3 at scale. And that the same applies to other brands as well.
Great. So right now you're seeing a mass exodus, right, from Web 2 to Web 3, right? What have you seen begin so far, and then what do you think we're going to see going forward?
So for Web2 to fully succeed, the end is everyone has to, like my grandma, my 5-year-old cousin, they have to be using Web3 without even knowing they're using Web3. So I predict, and honestly, just pulling out my ass prediction, but within 5 years that'll happen. So I think we're at the very beginning of the parabolic learning curve, meaning like here's the end goal, here's where we're at. We're like just here. People are starting to hear about NFTs. Like, what's an NFT? Oh, it's a monkey. It's worth $5 million. I don't care. No. Their NFTs have real world value. Here's a real world value. See for yourself type of thing. So I think companies are starting to realize that. That's why you see major players in the game like Starbucks, Tiffany's, they're dabbling. So, but they're the public ones. So if 2 to 3 major companies are doing it public, you can be sure that there are plenty of other companies who are already talking about it in their boardrooms and like, oh, Starbucks is doing it. We have to do something too. Otherwise, we'll get left behind. So that's where ShopX comes in. We want the solution, a simple plug and play for any brand to join Web3 and do what they want.
Okay, so you've seen some companies that have replaced, like there was a chart out there, right? And there was a replacement. Like this is a Web 2 version, this is a Web 3 version. Like, how do you see? What are some of those areas that are most impacted right now that people are moving over? And then what do you see as some of the learning things they're learning, during this process?
Yeah, so the first immediate example is I'm going to use PayPal just because they had their whole debacle with the finding someone $2,500 for wrong thing. So a simple solution for that is obviously MetaMask or any other hardware custodial solution where you own your own keys. So I think and that goes into what I think the biggest learning curve for people right now is going to be learning how to custody their own assets. Because I think we both know that's extremely important to actually do, but it's more important to know how to properly do. Because there's no, like, if you lose your keys, there's no customer support you can call.
Put it in a centralized exchange. There's no way you can get your money back. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So how do you think we expedite the move for everybody? Like other than and then what hindrances what could prevent that? Because I remember back in the 90s going on the internet, and it was a dial up, right? I had to wait for the thing. It sounded like a fax machine. I had to wait like 15 minutes to get online, right? So what do you think needs to be, developed in the infrastructure in order to make everything seamless?
Yeah, so to get people on board, they just need proper incentives. Right now, most people have no reason to hold crypto and no reason to hold NFT. I think ShopX is giving them a reason to hold NFT, then they'll look into themselves. Obviously, the biggest hindrance, at least in my opinion, is the usability of all crypto products. For example, like a new person going to crypto, going to Coinbase, downloading the MetaMask, it's just the UI is just not there yet for mass adoption.
User experience.
Yeah, user experience.
And what improvements do you think that should have to be able to incentivize them?
Hopefully new, easier wallets to use. Just everything done in the background. Everything should work normally. Better customer support, because that's been my biggest area of frustration in crypto. Is like I try to do something, like for example, try to bridge tokens. I'm like, where's my money? Oh, who do I contact? I guess I'll go to Reddit and search there. But for the normal, like the average person, that's just not feasible. And
But what you're
it'll
doing is
all come with the proper incentives. For example, once a big brand makes money by doing this, obviously they'll help on board because everyone's aligned to do so.
that is true. I think so. So what? So right now we're in a bear market too. Like you said no one has any incentive to hold crypto right now. We're in. People said it's winter 2.0. Other people said it's a bear. You know, who's going to win coming out of this bear market into the next bull, and why?
The same people who always do. Those who build during the market tend to get rewarded in the bull market. Those who build in the bear market get rewarded in the no, those who build in the bear market get rewarded in the bull market. Sorry.
Okay. And what are you seeing being built?
A bunch of companies. I can tell you personally that there's a bunch of hype in the investor community. People are getting excited. Brands are getting onboarded. Yeah. Yeah, so we recently just had LA Tech Week in Los Angeles. That's an investor agency event, and Web3 was very hyped. Everyone's super interested. Everyone's super excited. So that energy will eventually reach retail.
Okay. So you don't think like I was on a call like about a year ago, and the whole bunch of institutional players were on it. And when the retail market people were knocked out during a couple downturns in like May and June of 2021, they were celebrating. They're like they didn't want the retail people there, right? In the space. So what do we need to do to bring the retail customers back and say, hey, we need you here. we want you here, and what those institutions doing, saying that that wasn't appropriate, and how do we improve the karma or the reputation for retail to come back?
Yeah, I would say we want retail there, but we don't exactly need them. For me, it's an inevitability. So for retail to come back, it's just like a news hype cycle. The news has to come out, and then it all feeds on each other. So as the price rises, that draws in more people. Then they look into crypto more, reach the actual baseline thesis, start buying. They become the floor hodlers, and then that cycle just continues as the price goes up. Because price honestly is what draws people in. So the price goes up, more people get drawn in, more people learn, and then they set the floor for the next bear market per the last couple, but who knows what happens in the future.
So then, if you're saying the price action is equivalent to the price, then you have some certain factors that are driving the price down, and one of them is like really bad news in the market, right? Kim Kardashian was recently sued by the SEC,
Yeah.
right? And then you had some takes from the SEC critics who thought that there needs to be more done about celebrities. What's your thoughts on celebrity endorsements and retail interest and getting people into the platform?
I don't really have an opinion on celebrity endorsements. I mean, some are going to grift, some are going to do actual projects. It's up to them to get people into like crypto and Web3. Honestly, they just need a real world reason to do so. And I don't think that reason is going to be a celebrity endorsement. That may be a touch point in awareness, but for someone to actually get into Web3 and stick around, they need to be actually using Web3 and crypto.
Talking about the bad news, right? I have to go back 100 years, more than 100, 120 years. And Teddy Roosevelt says it's not the critic who counts. It's basically the people who are in the game building. So why do the critics not matter? Why do the people in the game matter more? And what words of wisdom do you have for people who might accidentally, take critics' words for it instead of being participating? Um, as a founder, as somebody new in this, not new, you're 29, but you're younger than me. What are your thoughts on how people can navigate that?
I mean, it's pretty easy to critique. And right now, we're building the infrastructure for when new people come in, they have a real use case or something interesting. I mean, advice to someone new in the space would just be to obviously do your own research, start small, 0 to 1, get a little bit. That'll incentivize you to research. Once you have skin in the game, you're generally good to go.
Um, and how have you done it? What was your story staying in there? Because you've stuck in it. So how have you done it?
Yeah, so I had my first obviously I heard about it in like 2014. I bought some for reasons, but I never hold. And then in 2016 is when I got my deep dive in. So that's when I got interested again. So I had my core group of friends who ones that like Coinbase. They're all spread out the crypto space. But we had a group chat. We'd always be like sending each other podcasts, asking each other questions. So we had a good group. We were all DCAing and we all weren't selling. Because like, why would I don't want to sell a piece of the future. It's like I would personally rather have the Bitcoin than dollars. So if you want to sell it to me for cheaper, thank you very much. Have a nice day, type of thing.
And patience is a big deal, right? So how have you been able to be patient um and sit through like ups and downs in the market and ups and downs in the negative in the comments in the news? How have you been able to navigate all that? Because a lot of people I know that I grew up with, as soon as the first sign of bad news on market goes, they sell. They're like, I'm at it. Like, how do you like? I've been in it 5 years too, but I want to find out from you how you've been able to have that commitment and the patience to stay.
Yeah. So to be honest, I don't really pay attention too much to the bad news. I'm like, oh, it's another thing. The technology is like, if there's something wrong with the code or anything like that, I'd pay attention to. But Kim Kardashian and getting sued by the SEC. I'm like, all right, whatever. And so I also don't check price that much. So the way I look at it is it's going to go up in the long term. So let's say you check price 5 times over the next 5 years. There's a high probability each time you check it over the next 5, if you check it only 5 times, it's going to be up, which will give you a green hit, like a happy moment. But if you check it 10 times throughout the day where it's extremely volatile, it'll be like 6 red hits, which are negative, 4 green hits. So the thing is, and the red doesn't cancel out the green. So it's like, if I'm in it for the long term, why would I subject myself to a negative moment? So like, for example, if I were to check price right now, it could be down 0.5%. I'm just like, well, it's not at 60, it's not at 69 anymore. That's kind of a meh, but it will be back there. So it's like, if it's going to be, phrase I like to use is like, once a train leaves the station, there's no point to frantically run around. The best thing you could do is sit back and enjoy the ride. So I made a decision to not check price as much. That's how I stay sane.
It's really smart. I remember the day that I think Bitcoin went from like 10,000 to like 15,000 in a day, and I had my cardiologist appointment, and we did the EKG, and he's like, "Something's wrong with the EKG. What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, the price of Bitcoin went up," and I got to do this on a different day, you know. So
Don't get me wrong. At a point, obviously, I was checking like the price in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m. I like wake up, all right, let's check the Bitcoin price. It's down. Fuck. And then just like go back to sleep. But then I'm like, this is not helpful in any way. I'm still gonna buy at any price. I'm just gonna buy. I'm not gonna sell. Yeah.
if you look at it, like I used to look at it 10 times an hour.
Oh
So
yeah, no, we go hard.
it's
Yeah.
more, I found to be more at peace if I check it irregularly, infrequently.
Yes.
Yeah. Good advice, man. Thank you. So,
Yeah. No, we've all been there.
um, yeah. So I want to double back on your platform. You know, you the Shopify primarily for retail shop for brands, right? Say you're an author or a musician or another type of content creator, and you want to create a product, say for example a podcast or something different, and you want to sell it on ShopX, right? How do you do that?
So first off, you would need a Shopify store, soon to be other platform. So as an artist, as a creator, you can create your own merch line and then launch a reserve pass to token gate specific products to the pass holder. So you can do, and then we're building out price gating, meaning if you have a pass, you get a discount. For now, the workaround that is simply just token gate a product, two of the same for a different price. Influencers, musicians, they can also do a dual pass with a brand. So for example, um, if you're a guitar player, you're working with Coke, you'd be like, hey Coke, let's launch a pass on my store. My fans buy my pass. We split the money, or we split the pass minting fee, and they get a discount for your store. Or as a musician, you can be like, hey, thank you for attending my show on 10/12. Since you're in attendance, you can have an NFT and then token gated live events for that. So that's what we call proof of attendance. So for example, if like if LeBron ever becomes the number one scorer in the NBA, if you happen to be at that event, you can get a specific NFT for memorabilia from that event. Yeah. So basically, as a creator, you just need a Shopify store, launch your product, then you can mint reserve pass NFTs in tandem with your store and create an extra revenue channel for you without diluting your brand value, and reward early users or super fans.
Awesome. So how does that tie in then? That's because I've seen people do that similarly. How
Yeah.
does it tie into the future of the metaverse?
Yeah. So the easy thing is the metaverse, like token gated events, but another solution we're working on is SourceX. So what that is attaching NFTs to real world products. So let's say you're a brand, and this is how ShopX is going to accomplish its goal of making 80% of NFTs being ShopX related. So let's say you're a major brand, you have 20 million SKUs. You download the app, you link each SKU to a specific NFT. So when the customer makes that purchase, they get the product, they get the NFT. So obviously that's how the product would transfer to the metaverse. But the cool thing is you can track every time that's resold all the way down the line because it's on the blockchain. If you wanted to, you can program royalties in there. And from the customer side, let's use Nike as an example. The shoe is sold 5 times, you want to guarantee authenticity. You just track the product. Oh, it actually came from the Nike factory. And you can also do cool things like, let's say you're making a car. Each individual part you can trace back to the original source to make sure everything's legit. Yeah.
So how would that be a different?
Yeah, so that, linking a product to NFT is, I think, going to be how those products transfer to the metaverse. So I buy a pair of glasses, my metaverse self gets those same glasses. But
You get it
future's unknowns.
You get it both in the metaverse and in real life.
Correct, because the NFT is the best way to bridge the gap between the physical and having scarcity in the metaverse, because NFTs are really just some private property on the internet, in my opinion. Or you can buy it in the metaverse and claim it in real life. It works both ways.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
So how
companies are already doing it too. Like I know a couple, I forget the names, but like there's some grocery stores that are doing millions of dollars in transaction from metaverse shops. There are plenty of companies that are, their goal is to create a metaverse shop for a brand store. So yeah, it's in the works. Fashion is killing it with that, by the way.
fashion is killing it?
Yeah, fashion's killing it.
And why do you think that is? Besides the not just the metaverse, but like, why do you think fashion's killing it?
They're just really innovative. The fashion mind is a creative mind, but the use case I see, one of the largest use cases, and then, again, this is my area of expertise. I just heard about it just by talking with people. But like, for example, you could have your metaverse avatar, and you can try on clothing in real life to see how it fits, and then get shipped that way. And of course, like the fashion models, like there's going to be like there's going to be concerts in the metaverse. There's also going to be fashion shows in the metaverse. There's going to be exclusive. So yeah, fashion has a creativity and the exclusivity and the willpower to make it work. So I think they'll be a leader in the space.
I interviewed Tim Draper back in April 2021. He said the way to get Bitcoin to $1 million price is through female shoppers.
Yeah,
right.
he's correct. That's part of our thesis. I mean, most of our people who get our NFTs are because for better or worse, females do most of the shopping. So if they get the NFT, then yeah. Did Tim wear a hat or he wears a tie?
So you think NFTs will have a role in that Bitcoin price?
Of course. I mean, it's not a Bitcoin versus NFT thing. It's everyone can grow together. Someone gets an NFT, they're most likely gonna at least hear about Bitcoin. And I think once you hear about Bitcoin, you learn at your own pace. So I view NFTs, specifically the SHOPX, as simply a way to incentivize people to get into the ecosystem. And then at that point, they can learn. They can go on Twitter, they can go on channels like yours, and then who knows, maybe they buy some, maybe they don't. Maybe they tell one person, that one person has an audience of 2 million. You just don't know. We just have to get the information out there. Because you can't stop an idea whose time has come, but we can speed it up.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. So I want to thank you very much for your time today. Is there, let's see, is there one final question? And this is how can people find out more information about you, about ShopX, about what you guys do? How can they, if they have a store, if they're a mom and pop shop, or they have a brand or whatever, how can they get involved and start making money and doing more sales? And how can they do any of that?
Yeah, so the best way to learn about ShopX, and I'll leave these links in the description, is to go to shopx.co, join the Discord, and ask questions there. If you're a mom and pop store on Shopify, all you have to do is download the app, and you'll get approved. We'll give you a demo and share best practice with you. That's going to be, by the time this airs, and by the time most listeners listen to this, we'll be on other e-commerce platforms as well. And to get in touch with me, again, show description, I'll leave my personal socials and my email. And it's a passion of mine, and my family will knowingly attest that I talked way too much crypto at family dinner. So I'm happy to set you, give recommendations for like a hardware wallet, MetaMask, safety best practices. So yeah, just reach out to me and we'll get you onboarded, whether it be ShopX or crypto in general.
Awesome. 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 Thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you too.